Hello there, my name is Safin and today I want to talk about the film A Different Man. It's a drama centered on the life of a deformed man named Edward. Edward is offered a miracle treatment that gives him a new face, but finds it doesn't solve all of his problems. I went into this film thinking it would be an Elephant Man type of film, and I wasn't wrong. It's a film focused on disabilities and how unfairly society treats people who have them. It mires in the day-to-day problems that Edward has and then runs through a what-if scenario where he wakes up with a new face. Aaron Schimberg wrote the story and directed the film, which stars Sebastian Stan as Edward, Renate Reigns as Ingrid, and Adam Pearson as Oswald. Today I'm going to start with my personal thoughts. I kind of hate this film. It feels like misery porn to me. The type of film you watch to feel better about your life and maybe to let out a little bit of your guilt. It doesn't have any happy emotions, it doesn't depict any kind of personal growth, and while it does highlight some of the struggles deformed people face, it doesn't explore why they face them. It has good performances in it, and there's a few interesting shots, but the film itself is a simple package focused heavily on social commentary. The only journey that takes place is a downfall, and the only characters they explore are very shallow by design. It felt long and boring, and the only real value I've gotten from it is a bit of food for thought about disabilities and how we should interact with disabled people. All that said, let's explore some of the things this film did well. The story is well explained and does a good job of exploring the particular what-if scenario in the film. Edward gets to see what life is like with a normal face, and we get to see how people treat him differently before and after. It gives a solid understanding of how ostracized people with disabilities can be, and even explores the idea that some people let their disabilities hold them back. The lion's share of the screen time goes to Sebastian Stan, with Adam Pearson and Renate Reigns playing supporting roles. As Edward, Stan starts off as a sad and lonely guy. He's ostracized for his deformity and tries to make his way through life quietly. He's also quite jealous of the people around him and their normalcy, so when they offer him a chance at a new face, he jumps at it. Unfortunately for Edward, he finds out there's more to life than just appearances. Stan plays the character in a humble and sympathetic way at first, but quickly devolves into a more psychotic personality. He plays the dissent in a believable manner and plays up Edward's lack of social skills in a great way. Adam Pearson shows up halfway through the film as Oswald to give Edward someone to compare his life to. Pearson plays Oswald as the right amount of charming with just a little bit of pretentiousness underneath. It contrasts wonderfully with Edward's first personality. Visually, the film isn't much to write home about. It's a lot of conversations in everyday spaces with a heavy focus on long one-shot scene work. There's a little bit of body horror too. They have the prosthetic mask fall off in clumps while Edward is being treated. Eventually, he starts pulling it off like he's peeling off skin. It's a bit gross, but not overly gory. The long shots do have interesting moments in them, but they're mostly used to give the audience a chance to study Edward and how he's feeling in the moment. Stan shows off a lot of physical acting and really drives home how awkward Edward is. Sound-wise, the film uses a melancholic style of jazz to give off a dour and defeated feeling. The songs permeate through every scene and keep everything within the same mood. They do add a bit of emotion in certain places, but not a lot. Which brings me to the film's negatives. Starting with the story. It's boring. I was ready for a nap after about 20 minutes of runtime. It's just watching this miserable guy become more and more miserable. There's no ups and downs in his life, he doesn't have any goals that we're invested in, and nothing goes well for him. The only interesting moments come from the magic drug that never gets explained and the minor conflict between Oswald and Edward over the part. Everything else is just wallowing in misery. There's no love story, Edward doesn't grow as a person, and the social commentary feels a bit shallow. It just wasn't interesting. Visually, the film lacks standout moments. For a drama, there's not a lot of passion in it. The camera is often still and focused more on the environment than the characters, and the environment isn't even that interesting. It's not like they're talking in incredible spaces with a lot of visual quality to them, or that have a deeper meaning. No, they're just talking in a gym, in an apartment, on the street, or at a bar. They're basic locations that don't hold much appeal. The soundtrack has a similar problem. All of the jazz instrumentals that they use sound the same. They're also not interesting tracks. They make the film feel very one-note and boring. Like all it's got to offer you is some sappy sad songs from the 70s. At least if they played some Kenny G, we'd be groovin'. These songs were just simple and kind of irritating. I wish this film had spent a little more time focused on an actual story rather than just experiencing Edward's sadness. It would have been a lot more exciting. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 5 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye bye!